Açılış mərasimində iştirak edib.
Azərbaycanın beynəlxalq təşkilatlara sədrliyi özünə məxsusluğu ilə seçilir. Bura həm təsisatın daxilində üzv ölkələrin əməkdaşlığını dərinləşdirmək, həm də onun nüfuzunun qlobal miqyasda artırılması daxildir. Qoşulmama hərəkatına sədrliyi dövrünü bu kontekstdə uğur hekayəsi kimi qiymətləndirmək olar. 40-dan çox ölkənin parlament nümayəndə heyəti, 9 beynəlxalq parlament təşkilatının təmsilçiləri hərəkatın parlament şəbəkəsinin Bakı konfransında bir araya gəlir.
Bu konfrans iştirakçıları arasında olmaq, parlamentarilər arasında şəbəkələşməyə, qoşulmama hərəkatına, üzv ölkələrin siyasətinə öz töhfəsini verəcək. Biz ölkələr arasında münaqişə olmasını istəmirik, sülh yaratmaq istəyirik. Ümidvarıq ki, parlament üzvləri kollektiv şəkildə qoşulmama hərəkatına əlavə dəstək verəcək.
Azərbaycan qoşulmama hərəkatına sədrlik dövrünə başlayanda qlobal çağırış pandemiya ilə üzləşdi. Davranışın özəlliyi ondan ibarət oldu ki, bu çağırış imkana çevrildi. Qoşulmama hərəkatının sədri, Prezident İlham Əliyevin təşəbbüsü ilə təmas qrupunun zirvə toplantısı təşkil olundu. Üzv ölkələrin əsas humanitar və tibbi ehtiyaclarına dair vahid məlumat bazası yaradıldı. BMT Baş Assambleyasının xüsusi sessiyası çağırıldı. BMT-nin İnsan Hüquqları Şurası tərəfindən bütün ölkələr üçün COVID-19 əleyhinə peyvəndlərə bərabər, məqbul qiymətə, vaxtında və universal əlçatanlığın təmin edilməsi haqqında qətnamə qəbul edildi.
Qoşulmama hərəkatı məndə çox böyük təəssürat yaradıb. Çünki bu sülh naminə hərəkatdır. Dünyadakı münaqişələrə qoşulmama hərəkatıdır. Bu təşkilat ona görə əhəmiyyətlidir ki, dünyanın gələcəyi olacaq. Biz dünyada çoxsaylı münaqişələrin şahidi oluruq. Bu təşkilatın həll yolları tapmaq üçün hərəkətə keçməsinin vaxtı çatıb. Bugün ona görə vacib gündür ki, bütün üzvlər dünyadakı vəziyyətə yenidən nəzər salmaq, münaqişələrlə bağlı təcili tədbirlər görmək, həll yolları tapmaq və bu münaqişələrə son qoymaq üçün bir araya gəliblər.
Biz bu gözəl təşkilatçılığa görə Azərbaycan tərəfinə təşəkkür edirik. Qoşulmama hərəkatının fəaliyyətinə dəstəyini alqışlayırıq. Bu konfransın təşkili Azərbaycanın növbəti uğurudur. Azərbaycan prezidentinə bu təşəbbüsünə, beynəlxalq problemlərin həllinə göstərdiyi dəstəyə görə təşəkkür edirik.
Qoşulmama hərəkatı dünyada BMT-dən sonra üst sayına görə ikinci böyük təsisatdır. Burada fərqli ölkələr, fərqli maraqlar var. Bir sıra ölkələr arasında hətta ziddiyyətlər də mövcuddur. Azərbaycan isə bu platformada ortaq məxrəci aydın tapa bilir. 120 ölkəni bir araya gətirib bəyanatlar, kommunikelərdə konsensusun əldə edilməsi, BMT Baş Assambleyası, eyni zamanda İnsan Hüquqları Şurasında qətnamələrin qəbulu əsas göstəricilərdəndir.
Venezuela üçün burada Azərbaycanda olmaq çox böyük şərəfdir və əlbəttə ki, bu şəbəkənin yaranması Venezuela üçün çox mühüm bir rol oynayır. Düşünürəm ki, bu şəbəkənin yaranması tarixi bir hadisədir. Çünki burada parlamentin işləri haqqında mübadilə aparacağıq. Burada biz bu platformada çox tərəfliliyin prinsiplərini, dəyərlərini daha da irəli aparacağıq.
Burada bu komitədə olmağa çox şadıq. Bu bizim üçün şərəfdir. Çünki bu bütün dünyada sülh və parlamentlər arasında əməkdaşlıq baxımından böyük əhəmiyyət kəsb edir. Düşünürəm ki, bu əlaqələrin inkişafı baxımından irəliyə doğru çox yaxşı addımdır.
Qoşulmama hərəkatının üzv ölkələrinin Azərbaycanın ədalətli mövqeyinə vətən müharibəsindən əvvəldə, müharibənin gedişatında da bir mənalı dəstək ifadə olundu. Tarixi qələbə isə təşkilatın təməlində duran Bandung prinsiplərinin təntənəsi kimi çıxış edir.
Qardaş ölkədə olmaqdan çox məmnunam. Pakistanla Azərbaycan arasında yaxşı əlaqələr var. Azərbaycan prezidentinin müdrik rəhbərliyi altında bugün bu konfrans Bakıda keçirilir. Düşünürəm ki, bu dünyada birliyə müsbət təsir göstərəcək və biz burada iştirak etməkdən məmnunuq.
Azərbaycan Qoşulmama Hərəkatına sədrliyi dövründə fəaliyyətə yeniliklər gətirdi. Gənclər şəbəkəsinin yaradılması, digər nüfuzlu beynəlxalq təşkilatlarla əlaqələrin qurulması və s. bu sıradadır. Azərbaycanın Qoşulmama Hərəkatına sədrliyi dövründə təsisata gətirdiyi yeniliklərdən biri də parlament şəbəkəsinin təsis olunmasıdır. Prezident İlham Əliyevin təşəbbüsünün əməli işdə nəticəsini Bakı konfransının yekununda biləcəyik.
President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Mr. İlham Əliyev.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, welcome to Azerbaijan. I'm very glad to see you all. I hope you will have pleasant stay in our city. Today I think an important event in the history of non-aligned movement. Here in Baku we create a NAM parliamentary network. I'm very grateful to NAM member states for supporting this initiative of Azerbaijan, which is another step to strengthen our solidarity and mutual support. As a former member of Parliament of Azerbaijan for 8 years, as a former colleague of yours, I know very well how important is parliamentary diplomacy and interparliamentary relations. And I'm sure that our parliamentary network not only will contribute to solidarity between our countries, but also will establish close working relations with different parliamentary organizations of the world. Non-aligned movement is the second after United Nations biggest international institution, and of course we all want that our voice is heard on global scale. Parliamentary network is not the only initiative which we put forward and got your support. Another important initiative is a youth network. And next month here in Baku, again, we will have another important event, a youth summit of NAM. So these are steps towards institutional development of NAM, and I think time has come to make practical steps in that direction. Another initiative which Azerbaijan put forward and was supported by member states is the creation of NAM support office in New York. I think also it's right time now to make more steps towards institutional development, and that in its turn will help us to defend our interests on international arena and also strengthen, of course, solidarity between our countries. Azerbaijan is a relatively new member of NAM. We joined NAM family in 2011, and from the very first days of our activity, we tried to contribute to solidarity, mutual support, and promotion of Bandung principles. We fully share Bandung principles, and we consider these principles as the only basis for cooperation and interaction between countries. Territorial integrity, sovereignty, independence, non-interference into each other's affairs. If these principles were preserved by all countries, there would have been no wars, no conflicts, and no injustice. So from the first days of our activity, Azerbaijan became very active in all NAM endeavors. And I think that was the main reason for unanimous support of Azerbaijan's candidacy to chair non-aligned movement. And this great unanimous support of 120 countries was shown in 2016, was shown to us. And in 2019, in Baku, we organized and successfully held NAM Summit and assigned the chairmanship for the years 2019-2022. And also we consider as a great sign of respect to our country and the sign of appreciation of our activity that our chairmanship in NAM, again by unanimous decision by 120 countries, was extended until late 2023. And we're grateful for that, and we will do everything in order to justify and your support and demonstrate that that was a right choice. Our chairmanship in NAM coincided with COVID-19, and Azerbaijan was one of the countries which actively played a role on the international arena in combating this disease. We initiated the NAM online summit and held it in May 2020, and that was the first step of NAM member states to consolidate our efforts in approaching pandemic. As a result of that, we launched initiative which was supported by member states to convene a special session of General Assembly in response to COVID-19, which was successfully held in December 2020. And our efforts also were aimed not only to strengthen solidarity and provide support, but also were very helpful to World Health Organization, which started to use our database with respect to support to countries and with respect to humanitarian and medical assistance. So the database which we created in member states was and is very useful in treating this pandemic and any other disease which may occur in the future. We provided financial support and humanitarian support to more than 80 countries. Also, we made a donation of $10 million to World Health Organization, and half of that money was assigned directly to NAM member states. So our efforts with respect to approach to COVID-19, I think had a very important global reflection, because we were one of the countries which was openly protesting against vaccine nationalism. We all remember in the early days and months of pandemic, some countries, wealthy countries, were stockpiling vaccines maybe 3-4 times more than they needed, and thus not allowing other countries to get access to vaccines. We all witnessed that wealthy countries were using absolute majority of the vaccines, while other countries were helpless. And therefore, our struggle against vaccine nationalism was also supported by United Nations. And I think that also had a very important impact on fair distribution of vaccines. So in other words, Azerbaijan always was demonstrating its position on regional issues, on global issues, and of course, as a chair of NAM, we will continue to fight against injustice, against violation of international law, against selective approach to different conflicts, and against discrimination. We also witnessed the great support of non-member states. As I said, unanimous decision to assign chairmanship of NAM and then to extend it was a clear demonstration of attitude of countries towards Azerbaijan. Another important sign of solidarity we saw in the most difficult times of our country, when we were liberating our territories after almost 30 years of Armenian occupation. And we were fighting on our own land. We were restoring justice, restoring international law, but unfortunately, some countries launched a campaign against us, campaign of discreditation, slander, and blackmail. And unfortunately, this was not only a verbal campaign or public accusations. Some countries tried to bring this issue, our due cause, to United Nations, to Security Council. But our friends, members of NAM at that time, members of UN Security Council, blocked anti-Azerbaijani statement and blocked the attempt of accusation against Azerbaijan, and thus did not allow pro-Armenian global forces to attack Azerbaijan. We are very grateful for that, for your solidarity. And once again, I'd like to say that we were restoring justice. Azerbaijan, a country which faced one of the biggest injustices in the world, occupation by Armenia of almost 20% of our territories, which resulted in ethnic cleansing. 1 million of Azerbaijanis became refugees and internally displaced persons. Our historical and religious heritage was erased by Armenian occupants. And now visitors of liberated territories can see it with their own eyes. This barbarism, vandalism, and desecration of our mosques, and destruction of our religious and cultural monuments. These are all facts. No one can ignore it, no matter how pro-Armenian forces and their supporters want to neglect. They are not able to neglect these facts, because already thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people visited liberated territories, including foreign visitors, of course, politicians, members of parliament, chairmen of parliaments, and journalists and experts and ordinary people, visitors. We put an end to that. We restored justice and international law. And when in 2019 in Baku I was speaking at the NAM summit, I was saying that we will defend justice and international law. We know what it means when you cannot restore it yourself, when you depend on others. But we were waiting for many years, for almost 30 years. We were waiting for international community to help to resolve this injustice and put an end to occupation. For that purpose, OSCE created Minsk Group in 1992, which was supposed to find a solution to this conflict. In other words, to put an end to occupation. But on the contrary, Minsk Group became an instrument in the hands of those who wanted this occupation to last forever. And now, when Azerbaijan resolved the conflict, put an end to occupation, restored its territorial integrity by military and then political means, there is no need for Minsk Group any longer. We already said farewell to Minsk Group, but unfortunately, Armenia and some others want to revitalize it. It is not possible. It is already dead. And we, as a country who suffered from occupation, we say that openly, and I think that any further speculation about OSCE Minsk Group is not only counterproductive, but also destructive for possible peace in our region. On 10th November 2020, after 44 days of liberation, war, patriotic war, Armenia had to capitulate and to admit its defeat. And then was forced to liberate the remaining territories which were not liberated on the battlefield. And it took only 44 days for us, but we waited for almost 30 years. And during the years of occupation, on many occasions, speaking on different international events, I was calling for sanctions to be imposed on Armenia and saying that the only way how to resolve this problem peacefully is to impose sanctions on Armenia. The sanctions which will be efficient and which will be damaging to the economy. But unfortunately, no sanctions was imposed. On the contrary, Armenia was getting much more support from some pro-Armenian politicians than Azerbaijan. And as we saw, the only purpose of Minsk Group activity was to freeze the conflict and to keep our lands under occupation forever. So we put an end to that policy and liberated our lands by force and by our political wisdom. I can tell you that situation with conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan is not only a regional issue, it is a global issue because it's a full violation not only of basic international principles, it was also violation and non-implementation of UN Security Council resolutions. In 1993, United Nations Security Council adopted 4 resolutions demanding immediate, full and unconditional withdrawal of Armenian troops from our territory. And the question is why these resolutions were not implemented. No one can answer, or maybe do not want to answer. Another question is why in some cases resolutions of Security Council are implemented within days, and in our case they were on paper for 28 years and would have remained on paper for another 28 years if not brave Azerbaijani military servicemen who liberated our lands. And it's a question of reforms of United Nations and its Security Council, because if resolutions are not implemented, then what's the sense of that? We speak for reforms, and I think that this should be also discussed on the level of heads of state and government of NAM, and to put an end to selective implementation of United Nations Security Council based on political preferences. In general, I would say that we all know that non-aligned movement is the second biggest after United Nations international institutions. And I think that we need to consolidate our efforts to strengthen our potential, to strengthen solidarity, try to speak with one voice. I know that there are certain problems between some member states. I think that NAM can be a platform to find a resolution to these problems, and also should be a platform to defend the interests of our countries. Because members of NAM, many members of NAM, they have similar history, similar problems, faced many times injustice, and try to defend their national interests, and we can do it together. Together we can do it more efficiently, and we speak for that. Therefore, initiatives of Azerbaijan as a chairman of NAM were aimed at strengthening solidarity and mutual support and institutional development of our institution, and maybe at certain stage to transform it into organization. I know that throughout the history of NAM there have been discussions about that. So I suggest maybe to restart these discussions. It's high time, because today when we see global polarization in the world, we see wars, conflicts, unpredictable situation, food crisis, energy crisis, humanitarian crisis. I think NAM can be a platform of countries which can not only defend their interests, support each other, but also play more active role on international arena. We in Azerbaijan would like to see it, and I hope that our distinguished guests, representatives of parliaments of NAM member states, will contribute to that. And of course, I will continue my consultations with heads of states and governments of NAM. Once again, dear friends, I'd like to thank you for being with us. We will try to do everything to show traditional Azerbaijani hospitality to you. I hope that the conference will be not only very productive, but also be a good chance for interaction, to establishing closer contacts. And as a result, we will see the progress in solidarity, in mutual support, and in strengthening of our institutions. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, let me open the session. His Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished parliamentarians, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's with great pleasure and privilege that I greet you all today at the Baku conference of the Non-Aligned Movement Parliamentary Network. It's an honor to have His Excellency Mr. Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, with us today. On behalf of all participants, I would like to extend our deep gratitude to His Excellency Mr. President for the noble initiative to establish the non-parliamentary network. The inspiring address Mr. President delivered today to the Baku conference is a testament to his unwavering commitment in his capacity as a chair of NAM to strengthen unity within the movement through multidimensional cooperation among its members. Dear participants, at the 18th summit of NAM held in Baku, the heads of state and government decided to expand and deepen interaction and cooperation among the parliamentarians of NAM. Last November in Madrid, in accordance with the initiative of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, we inaugurated the parliamentary network of the non-aligned movement on the sidelines of the 143rd Assembly of the Parliamentary Union. Today, the parliaments of more than 49 states and 8 international parliamentary organizations are represented at the Baku conference. We consider it as a clear manifestation of the importance given to the parliamentary cooperation by the member states. The conference also raises our hopes and confidence in relation to the network's future active engagement in global parliamentary diplomacy. Dear participants, the Baku conference will be a truly remarkable event. We are going to adopt during its proceedings the statute on working modalities of the non-parliamentary network, as well as the network's official logo and flag. We are also going to elect the chairperson and vice chairpersons of the network for the coming 3 years. Another remarkable feature of the Baku conference is the fact that is purposefully initiated by the Azerbaijani side. It coincides with the 30th of June, the International Day of Parliamentarism. And taking this opportunity, dear friends, I congratulate each and every one of you on this solemn occasion. I also express my confidence that the non-parliamentary network, through its activities, will contribute to the development of inter-parliamentary cooperation on a global scale. Ladies and gentlemen, we are aware of the initiatives of the non-aligned movement under the chairmanship of Azerbaijan, aimed at addressing the negative consequences of the pandemic, as well as a post-pandemic global recovery. The collective support of NAM parliaments for these initiatives has been reflected in the Madrid Declaration and will also be reiterated in the Baku Declaration that we have agreed to adopt today.
Sonra Milli Məclisin sədri Sahibə Qafarova bildirdi ki, davam edən pandemiya, silahlı münaqişələr, iqlim dəyişikliyi və bir çox başqa çağırışları nəzərə alaraq bugün dünyamız elə bir nəhəng transformasiya dövrünü yaşayır ki, qlobal təhlükəsizlik və inkişaf strukturu çox güclü və çox ciddi dəyişikliklərə məruz qalır. Sülh, təhlükəsizlik və dayanıqlı inkişafın qorunub saxlanılmasında Qoşulmama Hərəkatının təməl ideyalarının və rolunun davamlı əhəmiyyəti bir daha vurğulandı. Parlament diplomatiyasından danışan Sahibə Qafarova hazırki beynəlxalq mürəkkəbliklər kontekstində çox tərəflilik və beynəlxalq əməkdaşlığın indi hər zamankindən daha vacib olduğu bir vaxtda bu diplomatiyanın böyük əhəmiyyət kəsb etdiyini dedi. Qoşulmama Hərəkatı parlamentlər şəbəkəsinin üzv ölkələrin əhalisi arasında hərəkatın dəyərlərinin inkişafı ilə bağlı məlumatlığın artırılmasına kömək edəcəyinə, həmçinin üzv ölkələri narahat edən məsələlərlə məşğul olmağa parlamentarilərə köməklik göstərəcəyinə əminlik ifadə olundu. Vurğulandı ki, Azərbaycan tərəfi Qoşulmama Hərəkatı parlament şəbəkəsinin bütün üzv dövlətlərinin maraqlarına uyğun qurulmasını təmin etmək üçün mövcud mexanizm və resurslardan istifadə edib. Sonda Bakı bəyannaməsi və Qoşulmama Hərəkatının parlament şəbəkəsinin iş qaydalarına dair nizamnamə qəbul edildi. Təşkilatın rəsmi loqosu və bayrağı təsdiq olundu. Qurumun sədri və sədr müavinləri seçildi. Konfrans 3 gün davam edəcək.